Good day, good day, good day, and welcome to the Impact Investing Show with your host, Samuel I Can Win, It Can Win. Guys, I hope you've had a fantastic week. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. I hope all is good where you're from and where you're at. And I hope you're looking forward to moving forward further and faster in your property investing journey. Guys, today is the day. It's episode 47. Hope you're looking forward to today's episode. We've got so much value to add to you. Now, before we go deep diving into today's session, let me start speaking properly. It would be fantastic if I could get you guys who are tuned in already to let me know you're tuned in. Just feel free to drop a comment. Let me see a hi in the chat, so I know that I'm speaking to some people today, so that I know you guys are coming to get the value today. Let me see a hi in the chat. Let me know who's with us in the chat in today's show. I've got Yogesh in the comments already who says hi. Hi, Yogesh. Great to have you on today's show. Guys, who else is here? Who else is tuning in to episode 47? Where we are going to be breaking down a whole bunch of stuff, which I think is going to be of extreme... What was that? Interesting. Which I think is going to be of extreme value to you. I've got Rex Banner in the chat who says, hi, Sam. Hey, Rex. Hope you're doing well. Rex, let us know. Is this your first time tuning in? I believe your name's familiar, so I'm sure you're probably not a first timer. But if you are, Rex, just drop in the chat the word new, so we know that you are new to the channel and it's your first time tuning in. Let us know, guys. I want to know who's here for the first time, who's been here before. If you've been here before, guys, again, just feel free to jump in the chat and write the comment, been here before. Yogesh says electric shock. Yogesh, let me ask a question. Are you using headphones? Okay, quick question. Are you using headphones? The reason I ask is because that would have been louder for you if you are using headphones. So are you using headphones on today's stream? And guys, if you are someone who's using headphones, it's okay. I understand. I use headphones. I'm someone who uses headphones when I engage with the community too. I watch a lot of YouTube content whilst wearing headphones. So if you are using headphones, it's totally understandable. Yoga says no. Wow, so it was really just that loud. Okay, guys, let me check if we're safe. Hold on. Okay, we're safe. We're safe. Yes, we're safe. Now, if you want to know what happened, just write in the chat what happened with a question mark, and I'll let you know what happened. But for those of you who care, we are safe over here in the office. So guys, I got Yogesh saying no, he's not currently wearing headphones. Yogesh said, glad you're safe. Thank you, Yogesh. We got to stay safe in these times. These are trying times, 2020/2021/2022, potentially, depending on how the government want to roll this thing out, is trying times. So we got to stay safe. Yogesh says what happened. Basically, I'm on a chair which has wheels, and it seems as though my chair decided to grab the actual cable for the router, the internet router that is specifically in this office. So as a byproduct, it was the router that dropped on the floor when the cable was pulled as I slightly moved. So again, the joys of being in an office and the joys of having cables right next to you, a plug right next to your chair. So guys, apologies about that. It was an electric shock, but thank you for that, Yogesh. I got Rex in the chat who says I'm a repeat customer, which is the reason I was laughing a moment ago. Rex, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a repeat customer, a repeat client, a repeat guest on the show. We love it. We love it. We love it. Guys, today's show, we got so much value to share with you. I hope you guys are ready for today's show. I'm going to be sharing with you guys some news articles. I'm going to be giving you guys some insights into some of the things that are taking place in the property sector right now, stuff which I think is going to be of immense value for the community, things that people will hopefully be able to use moving forward, and also achieving their property investing goals by moving further, faster. Okay, Yogesh is saying he presumes I'm talking about the budget. Yes, I will be sharing my view on the budget, but to be honest with you, I feel as though everybody on the YouTube box, in their soapbox, their YouTube soapboxes, are going to be talking about the budget. So because of that, I'm not going to spend too much time speaking about the budget, unless that's what you guys want. If you guys want us to be talking about the budget in an in-depth fashion, then by all means, maybe we could do a bit more of that. But to be honest with you guys, I don't want to spend lots of time talking about the budget, but I do want to focus on one specific part of the budget, which is what we'll cover later on in the show. I got Susie4 in the chat who says, hi, good afternoon all. Hi, good afternoon, Susie4. Great to have you on the stream again today. I pray that you are blessed, and I pray that you are looking forward to today's stream. Guys, can we get some highs for Susie4 in the chat, as Susie4 has addressed everybody and said, hi, good afternoon all. Guys, today's stream, like I said, is episode 47. How did we get here? Yogesh recognized it last week when he made an interesting comment and said that we are nearly at a whole year of streams, week to week, back to back. And he's absolutely right. Very soon we'll be coming up to 52 weeks, episode 52. Guys, what I'd love for you guys to let me know is, what do you think we can do to celebrate the 52nd week stream? One whole year of streaming back to back weekly each Saturday, in order to give you guys value and help you move further faster in your property investing journey. I'm interested, guys. I'm interested in knowing your thoughts. Let me know, whether that be in the comments, whether that be in the chat. Let me know what you guys think we should do in order to celebrate a whole year of streaming when we hit week 52. I'm going to be looking forward to that. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that also. Now, in today's episode specifically, as I mentioned, we're going to be speaking a little bit about the budget. We're going to be speaking a little bit about one specific aspect of the budget. I'm going to leave a few of the other things for today's session out from the budget. But again, if these are things that you guys have that have come up to you guys as challenges, or come up to you guys as things you want to get through, then again, by all means, let us know, and we could potentially touch on those as well. I'm happy to do that. As you guys know, we're going to be opening the phone lines as usual in a short while, for people who want to jump in, onto the phone in order to get some value in that regard also. Now, today, as I usually say, okay, hope you guys are ready to go. We are going to be jumping in to a few different things, but before we do that, let me get us ready by sharing with you guys how we ended up here, because there may be some people who are tuned in today who are brand new. I see the chat is just blowing up. And guys, keep doing what you're doing in the chat. Keep letting people know why you're here. Keep letting people know what you came for, so that we can connect further in the impact space, in the property space. All right. So a big welcome to every single person who's tuned in today, whether you've already commented or whether you haven't commented live. I just want to say welcome to you. If you're watching this video on a replay, again, welcome to you. It's great to have you on the channel. This is the Impact Property Show, where we take creative property investing and give it to you on demand. This channel is the place where creative property investing, you find it on demand. And in episode 47, the question you might be asking is, why are we actually here? So let me give you the quick synopsis of why we're actually here. Last year, in the year 2020, there was a pandemic announced. And straight after the pandemic announced in the month of March, at the time, was hosting one of the largest property investment networking events in the whole of the UK, with over 100 regular attendees to the Canary Wharf property meeting that I was hosting. And at that time, one of the things that happened is, every single month where we'd have this networking event, I'd have a line of people at the end of the event asking me questions. Samuel, how do I do this? Samuel, how do I get into property? Samuel, what kind of training is available for me to invest in property? Samuel, I've got this particular mad tenant. What do I do? Samuel, I've got this particular property. Is this strategy viable? Is it available? Can I do this? Can I do that? So this was kind of the experience I had going forward in terms of my property journey, in terms of sharing and giving back to people. And through going through that, I said to myself, you know what, it was basically just normal for me. It was the way things were supposed to be in terms of my property journey, giving back in that space. But then obviously when the pandemic was announced, unfortunately, it was an interesting scenario where I didn't have that anymore. I didn't have these queues of people, but what I had instead was people phoning me. I had people messaging me. I had people reaching out to me on social media through means of all of the various different platforms. And as these people were reaching out to me, what they were basically saying is, Samuel, I'm not sure about this. Samuel, I'm not sure about that. How do I do this? How do I maneuver through here? How do I maneuver through them? And we saw that so many people were basically going through storms in their property investing journey. So I said to my team, I said, listen, guys, what can we do to help these people? Because I can't answer every phone call. I can't basically respond to every Facebook Facebook Messenger message, every WhatsApp message, etc. And the team said, Samuel, all we've got to do is show up, make ourselves available on a regular basis in order to help people strategize through the storm. And thus the Impact Show was born. Now, it wasn't born in this form. It was born in the form of the Strategy in the Storm sessions, which we were running for a number of weeks to start this all off. And as we were running that, we had so many people that were attending, so many people that were participating and being a part of what we were doing in terms of how we were sharing people. I got Rex saying, hi, Sam. Thank you, Rex. We got, I had so many people sharing with us, basically saying to us, you know what, Samuel, you're helping us, you're pushing us forward, you're showing us things that we wouldn't have understood otherwise. And as a result, we said to ourselves, what's actually really going on here? What are we actually really doing? And we realized that a summary of what we were doing, of the values we were giving people as we were helping them strategize through their storms, their specific property storms, was quite simple. The summary of what we were doing is we were teaching people how to invest in property successfully, how to invest in property appropriately. And because of that, we shifted and we changed this series, this set of episodes of the Impact Show, into how to invest in property, because effectively that's what you're going to walk away with as you tune in to this channel, as you tune in specifically to our live shows. You're going to be understanding how you can specifically and successfully better invest in property. Now, for some of you who are tuned in, you've got properties, you've got a portfolio, you've got 8, 9, 10, 4, 3, however many properties you've got in your portfolio. Now, this channel, this show is geared at helping you improve that portfolio by optimization, or increase your portfolio by understanding a few other things which are essentially key in your property investing journey. Now, side by side with that, for those of you who are beginners, okay, so not necessarily new to the channel, but maybe new to really investing in property, for those of you guys, this channel's for you, because this is going to give you the insights so you don't waste your time trying to learn how to invest in property, but instead you actually see how to do it from day one, from day dot. All right. So a great big hi to all of you guys who have tuned in, who have said hi. Hi to Yogesh. We got hi to Rex. We got Yogesh who says, been here before. Great to have you back, Yogesh. We got Susie4 in the chat who says, hi, good afternoon all. We got Rex who says, hi, Susie. We got Yogesh who says, hi, everyone. Wow. So Yogesh says a comment. We got Mrs. I Can Win in the chat who says good evening all. We've got, yes, Mrs. I Can Win who says good evening all. And Yogesh makes a comment which is very powerful. Yogesh says he was there at the beginning and impressed. You keep going. Listen, Yogesh, thank you ever so much for your comment. Much appreciated. Yogesh, did you not think we had the stickability? That's a good question I'd ask. Did you not think we would have the stickability? Did you think that after one episode, 2 episodes, oh wow, did you think after 1 episode, 2 episodes, or 3 episodes, we would disappear? Is that what you thought? Let me know, Yogesh. I'm interested in asking. I'm asking tongue in cheek. Yogesh knows that. He knows I've got a bit of a humor. But guys, I'm interested, Yogesh. Did you think that we'd only do this for a week or 2 and disappear? Or did you think that we would actually keep going because we'd see the needs of the people and recognize that if people have those needs, there's no point to do anything other than support those people by providing the answer and solutions to those needs? So what did you think, Yogesh? Interested in understanding and seeing and hearing your take on the situation. So with that being said, let's jump in. Apologies, guys. I've got things a little bit differently organized today. Just for those of you who are wondering why I'm looking here, this direction for the comments. Some of you might be wondering that. Some of you might not, because you might not know that I usually look right here for the comments. But yeah, just moved a few things around. So playing with it and seeing how it all goes for today's show. Now, quick statement I'm going to say to you all, guys, and I want to say this. I want you guys to understand this. This is quite important to me. And that statement is, don't forget to say hi. Okay, if you are on the stream, if you are tuned in with us right now, please don't forget to say hi. Leave a hi in the comments. If you're tuning in live, leave a hi. If you've said hi already, thank you for doing so. And if you haven't said hi already, don't forget to say hi. Don't forget to let us know that you're in the comments, you're with us, you're rocking with us. Let us know, guys. Let us know, because we are keen to connect with you guys. And the only way we can connect with you guys is if we know who's here, if we know what you guys are doing, if we know what you guys are keen on, so we can actually connect. So guys, I'm interested in hearing from you guys. Don't forget to say hi. All right, don't forget to say hi. We want to hear from you guys, and we want to connect with you guys on the show and in the stream. So hi to everybody. Don't forget to say hi if you're tuning in. All right, cool. With all of that being said, what do we do now? Let's jump in. Do you guys want the news, or do you want us to open it up for Q&A? Let me know. What do you guys want? Do you want the news, or do you want the Q&A? Whilst you guys are deciding and throwing that in the comments, I'm going to jump into the show disclaimer, which states all information provided and results given are exemplary. Each person's results may vary or differ. Results are based on consistent implementation of strategies, and we advise that you always, yes, always, seek legal and financial advice from a qualified professional. And guys, look, let me just say this as well. I don't think I've said this on today's show yet. Guys, I've got some massive appreciation for every single one of you that have hit subscribe at any point in this journey. Yogesh just mentioned a moment ago a very powerful comment. He was there at the beginning and impressed that we've kept going. Guys, we've had people that have shown how committed they are to what we're doing by hitting that subscribe button. We've had people show how committed they are by, taking steps to donate to our channel. We've got a link where people can donate, impactproperties.co.uk/donation. We've had people donating saying, look, what you guys are doing, I'm loving it. I want you guys to keep on doing it. Some of you know that we've started a project to build our purpose-built content creation studio. Our purpose-built content creation studio is on the way. More materials arrived this week for the studio space. And guys, look, I just want you to know that as we do this stuff, those of you who jumped into our Amazon wish list, who have bought products, the journals, all the different things, guys, I just want to say I appreciate it. I appreciate it because you guys have shown that you're committed to this journey, to this endeavor, and to this journey as well, whether it be as viewers, whether it be as subscribers, whether it be as people who are, I know a few of my coaching clients jump on these shows as well and get even more value. So again, like whether you're one of the coaching clients, whether you're one of our students, whether you're just someone who's a viewer, whether you're someone who's engaged in that not, impartial way, guys, we appreciate you. And I just want you to let you know that we do appreciate you. This is the reason why we do what we do. We do it to help you guys move further, faster in your property in your property endeavors and your property journey. So guys, let's make sure we make this happen, and more importantly, let's make sure we make this happen together. Now, for those of you who may be interested in participating and contributing to our new studio build, a big thank you to all of you who have already sent gifts over. You can go to impactproperties.co.uk/studio build. And when you get onto that link, what you will find is that we basically have an Amazon wish list where you could basically donate a gift to our channel. So again, that's on the bottom of the screen. Join in to support the studio build, impactproperties.co.uk/studio build. That's impactproperties.co.uk/studio build. And as I've mentioned, that is there for you guys. It's there as part of our community to just show your appreciation if you desire to, in that fashion, in that way. Yogesh says he's just impressed because my time is precious. And you know what, Yogesh, I appreciate that, and I agree with you. My time is very precious, and I try to appreciate my time as being extremely precious. And what better way to use my time, if I do really respect and value my time, than help other people to buy their time back. And that's something I learned a long time ago. In the personal development world, some people call it paying it forward. I'm an avid reader of the Bible. As many of you know, in the Bible, they just talk about giving. And yeah, I've got a big heart to give to people. I understand that I was fortunate to have coaches, teachers, people that supported me on my property journey to help me understand the value of getting out of the day job, or at least changing things so I was not dependent on my day job. And I've got massive appreciation for those people, those coaches, those people that have supported me and showed me insights and value in any way, shape or form. I'm one of those people who gratitude and appreciation is something very, very dear to me, very important to me. So whenever I can give back and pay it forward, as they say, I go out of my way to try and make sure that I do. And not only that I do, but I do beyond what I deem is necessary. So for me, I might have said, well, look, we'll have 7 of these shows, and after doing 7 of these shows, that'll be a nice little series that people can use and go back and watch the videos again and again. But again, some of my coaching clients, I remember one specific coaching client, Timmy, he reached out to me one day. He was going through some drama. And I said to him, look, we can have the session, but it will make more sense if this session is actually shared and broadcasted for other people. And it was people like Timmy, people like Remy, people like Yanni, people like Yogesh. These are the people that were really tuning in at the beginning of this journey. And from tuning in at the beginning of the journey, they were asking questions and showed that there was a need for this. And the reality for me is, if there's a need, why would I cut that off? If there's a need, why would I keep this thing to myself? So these are some of the reasons, guys, that we've continued to do this. These are some of the reasons that we've said, you know what, we're not just going to stop, because people don't want us to stop. People need this action. They need the support. They need the help. So who are we to not help them? I could, close myself off in a room and do my own thing and be happy with what I've got, and that's all cool. And I know a lot of people that do stuff like that, but that's not my style. That's not my style. It's never been my style. It's never going to be my style. I'm a giver at heart, and I'm going to be a giver for life. So guys, if you are interested in being similar to myself, being one of those people who are givers for life, let me see you in the chat. Just give me the letter G in the chat, so I know that you're someone who's a giver also. Let me see a letter G in the chat, so I know that you guys believe in giving also. And it's funny, I'll share something with you guys just to understand how much I take this seriously, because it's one thing to talk about stuff, it's another thing to actually be about stuff. But I take this very, very seriously, extremely seriously, to a degree that some of you who know would have potentially been with me on. Let's load the chat up, because I think that's going to be helpful for you guys to really rock with me today. Let's do that. Can I do it? Yes, you can always do it. Let's make it happen. Episode 47. This can't be the episode where you can't do it. So let's do it. Let's load up the chat so the community can be in the house. There we go. Chat loading up. And guys, as I've said earlier, if you haven't hit that like button side by side with that, press subscribe and hit the bell so you get up-to-date notifications of every single thing we do, every single time we do it. Yogesh, I see your G in the chat. Anyone else, guys? Is it just Samuel and Yogesh? Are they the only givers out here in this community? Let me know, guys. Let me know. I'm actually genuinely interested, guys. I want to know, are you the kind of person who goes out of your way to give at times? Is there ever a time where you say to yourself, no, I don't just want to take, I want to be a giver sometimes? Let me know, guys. I'm interested. Okay, I really want to know, who are the community that we are fostering here? Is this a community of people that are just here to take? And if you are just here to take, that's great. Press subscribe. Make sure you get as much as you can. And when you leave, feel free to hit the like button to say you liked what you got. But if not, let us know. Yogesh goes further. Powerful statement. Yogesh goes further and says he thinks he gives too much. Powerful statement. Listen, Yogesh, let me tell you something. There's times I've been told, okay, it's one thing if you think you give too much. Is imagine being told you give too much. I've been told on numerous occasions, Samuel, you give too much. But the funniest thing, I don't listen to the people that tell me that. I don't even listen to myself when I think that. I obviously, again, I'm an avid reader of the Bible. I follow biblical principles, and I go by what the Bible states about giving too much. And what the Bible basically teaches is that, God gave his only son in the Bible. So if you give your only son, I haven't given nothing yet. So let me just leave it like that in terms of my view on giving. But guys, I've got a lot more to give. I want to keep giving. This is part of the reason why we're building the purpose-built content creation studio, so we can give a whole lot more in a whole lot more different ways. Let me say it like that. That's clean English. That's the good English. All right, guys. So you guys haven't told me whether you wanted to go into the news or whether you wanted to open the phone lines. That's okay. I don't discriminate. In light of that, let's jump into the news. Okay, guys, we are jumping into the news. I hope you guys are actually ready for this, because this is going to be extremely interesting. We're going to be talking a little bit for a moment about the stamp duty changes and what's taking place in the stamp duty world as it pertains to the up-to-date budget. So I hope you guys are actually ready for this as we jump into talking specifically about that. Oh my gosh, I got my man Samuel Cole in the chat. He says, G, So Samuel's about giving as well. I love that. And Yogesh says a powerful statement. He goes, he can't help it. Yogesh, I understand that. Let me just tell you that. I definitely understand that. When you give as part of your nature, it can become very difficult to stop giving. So I totally understand that. All right, guys, let's load up the news. Let's see what we're going to be talking about in today's show. This is some good tea, guys. All right. This is not a tea advert, but this is some good tea. I do encourage you, if you do drink tea, if you're a drinker of tea, to make sure you got some good stuff. And I've got some good stuff, guys. Just sharing that with you. You know, this is part of giving, guys. Keeping it real. All right. Susie4 says, God bless you. I love that. Appreciate it. Samuel Cole says, news. Okay. So you guys, your comments were coming through. Apologies. Maybe I didn't pick it up. So let's jump in. Thank you ever so much, Susie4. I appreciate you. Appreciate comments like that. Yeah, always love it. All right, let's jump in. All right, so hopefully you guys can read the news article. If you can't, it's okay. I'm going to read it to you. It looks like to me on the screen it says it's a little bit blacked out, but that's okay. All the links are in the description. You guys know how we do, so there's no need for you to run away thinking, how am I going to get the link to that article? Links in the description as usual. Now, this is from This Is Money. And the article says it's unlikely unless the stars align. Okay, interesting way to start a news article. Home buyers warned they might still miss out on the stamp duty saving as stressed solicitors go to ground. Okay, and this article was written on the 5th of March, so again, it's fairly recent. This came out yesterday. In order to in part response to Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer's most up-to-date budget announcement. So let's jump into it. It says, here's the bullet points. Chancellor Rishi Sunak extended the stamp duty holiday in the budget. It will now stay in place with a £500,000 threshold similar to before until June, before tapering down to £250,000 in September and finally ending in October. Now, why does this all sound interesting? Because we've been running this show for 47 episodes, and this sounds like what I said a number of months ago when I basically stated that they will have to find a way to ease and wean people off of the stamp duty holiday in order for it to not have an adverse effect on the economy. And now they've decided to do a staggered reduction. Let's keep going. It says buyers having an offer accepted today could miss the new cutoff date. It goes on to say this is due to a huge increase in the workloads of solicitors and mortgage brokers. Samuel Cole, I see your comment. KTR, great to have you on the stream. I see your higher KTR, great to have you on again. Samuel, I'm gonna answer that question. Give me a minute, because this tea is the real thing. Let me this is the real stuff. I wasn't expecting anyone to ask me what it was. But yeah, I'm sure the CEO of the company is going to be quite happy to hear that people are interested in his tea, but or her tea, in their tea. Let me say their tea. But nonetheless, again, I will share which tea it is in a moment. Yeah, I will definitely do that. See, and guys, let me share this. This is part of the reason why we are working towards the purpose-built content creation studio, because when we have that, what we'll do is we'll just show you. We'll show you the box of tea, because we'll all be making the tea inside of the actual studio, but you guys are going to see it anyway. It's regardless, it's coming. So let's make this happen. And guys, again, I've said this earlier in the stream, I'm saying it again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for those of you who've made donations, no matter how big, no matter how small. We appreciate it. Tesco says every little counts, and we believe that principle. Side by side with that, all of you guys who have sent any kind of items from the Amazon wish list on the impactproperties.co.uk/studio build link, we appreciate you guys as well. We love all of you guys. Thank you. And even those of you who haven't donated, haven't contributed in any way, you're still contributing by watching the content, so we appreciate you as well. Keep letting us know that you appreciate this stuff, and we'll keep doing it. All right, buyers having an offer accepted today could miss the new cutoff date. Okay, so today, even if they had an offer accepted today, they could still be out of luck with regards to the cutoff date. It says this is due to huge increases in the workloads of solicitors and mortgage brokers. Some say they are having to turn new clients away or stop picking up the phone. Hope you guys are listening to this. Share your experience, and they gave an email address. So let me get into the article. It says home buyers welcomed the stamp duty holiday extension in this week's budget, but overstretched solicitors say many will still miss the new deadline and some are even turning clients away. Chancellor Rishi Sunak confirmed that the stamp duty holiday will continue to apply to the first 500,000 of a home's purchase price until the 30th of June. It will then taper off, applying to the first 250,000 until the end of September before returning to the former rate of 125,000 at the beginning of October. Rightmove has said that 300,000 additional home purchases could benefit from this. However, property solicitors have said buyers entering the process now may have little hope of taking advantage of the stamp duty saving because of a bottleneck. And I don't like that word saving, but it's okay. Let's just keep going. Because of the bottleneck in legals and mortgage applications. Let's keep going. It says Tom Lyers, Director of Engagement at the industry website Today's Conveyancer, said it's good news, as if you were worried about beating the April deadline, you should now be able to do this barring any major disasters. But unless you have a number of things in your favor, hope you're listening to this, it's probably unlikely you are going to be able to complete by the end of June if you instruct solicitors in the next month or so. Conveyancing solicitors told This Is Money that some firms were turning away new clients as they struggled to cope with their existing caseload, while others were warning buyers at the outset that they may still miss the June or even September deadlines. Excuse me. Conveyancers and mortgage lenders have both reported being massively overworked since summer 2020 when the property market reopened. It goes on to say, according to the Conveyancing Association, the average transaction now takes 20 weeks, around 4 months. Okay. On the basis buyers having an offer accepted today would narrowly miss the June deadline, Elizabeth Webster, director at Yorkshire-based conveyancing firm LCF Residential, said most firms have managed their workload by curbing the amount of new instructions they take on. Now, there's more to this article, but guys, I think that's enough for now, and it's all good to have a great big picture of the man himself, Rishi Sunak. All right, guys, look, I don't know what your thoughts are, okay, because there's so much stuff, going on. Yogesh has a good comment here. He says his solicitor still picks up the phone. Thank goodness. Really lucky to have found them. Now, look, this is the reality for some people who are more experienced, okay? And again, obviously, Yogesh, sometimes you got to take a step back and look at the situation. You are more experienced. You're the kind of person who's built a portfolio. You're the kind of person who's always interested in developing yourself, learning more, and taking the bull by its horns as well. I think that's a few comments I could say about your character, which I've picked up from knowing you over the years. But you've got a heart to move forward in this stuff, and you've done some things. So your solicitors, I assume, will be people that recognize that and know that you're not going to waste their time. Whereas obviously solicitors deal with their own caseloads, and they know from experience that a lot of people who do instruct them at times or do inquire of them at times aren't really as serious as some of us. So as a result, they're happy to turn away business. So it is good that your solicitor is continuing to answer the phone. That's great. Yogesh also says, so with 95% deposit for first time buyers, do you see price rises and then correction? Let's do the questions in a moment, but I'll definitely come on to that because I think that's a very interesting question. So guys, I want you guys to think about this and understand this, because what happens is we have these shows, and I'm not a genie. Most welcome, Yogesh, anytime. It's just the truth. Like I said, if I recognize something, I'm happy to share it. But guys, so many times we have these shows, and some of you who have been with us for a while, you attest that, Sam actually said that was going to happen. If you were listening, if you were doing exactly what I usually recommend, which is taking notes during these sessions. But the point is, some of you will actually know that, Samuel said something like this was going to happen. Samuel said it's highly likely that they are going to extend it. When we saw all the talk about extending it, not extending it, etc. And I also mentioned several times in the past that most likely they're going to have to find a way where the society doesn't feel like this discount, as they're calling it, or this saving, as they're calling it, is stripped away from them. So as a result, I didn't necessarily think that they would do a staggering system. It just didn't come to mind. But at the end of the day, the staggering system is a really good way to make people feel as though it hasn't just been taken away from them. So interestingly enough, that's the approach they've gone for, and that's what's going to be taking place. So guys, again, I'm quite interested in your thoughts on this. If solicitors, and this is the thing which again gets me, but this is what happens in our society, the let's just go into it. I'll just share it with you guys. The government tell you, we're giving you a discount, we're giving you a saving. The news tell you, you're getting a discount, you're getting a saving. But the actual practitioners who are going to deliver this discount or deliver this saving tell you, listen, we're too busy, we're not even answering the phones. Okay, so I want you to understand that's the reality, because sometimes that's what happens. You have mainstream newspapers, tabloids telling you, yes, it's a deal, yes, we've got this, yes, we've got that going on, yes, it's going to happen again, yes, this year too, yes, we're going to reduce this and increase that. But the reality is the actual people, the foot soldiers, the people on the ground, whether it be the teachers. And I didn't learn this stuff based on my property experience that I'm talking to you about now, in terms of the disparity between the government statements and the actual delivery from real people. I actually learned this in education, because when I worked in education as a teacher trainer, this was something I'd see again and again and again. I would see politicians stand up and make assertions, claims, proposals around the education sector. And I would see those proposals, those claims, those assertions basically be implemented in maybe 1%, 2% of the actual school system. They wouldn't filter down to mainstream schools. They wouldn't filter down to most schools. They wouldn't filter down to all schools. And that was one of the ways I realized a long time ago, very long time ago, that when the government says something, you should really, really scrutinize it yourself. You should do your own due diligence to work out if what they're saying is actually true. You should do your own due diligence to find out if what they're saying actually makes sense. Because a lot of the time, things that we're told on the television in these budget updates, they're not feasible to achieve the goals that we're told that they're feasible to achieve. But the problem is, because these people are in that position, because they're given the notoriety, because they're given the TV time, because they're given the press coverage, people tend to believe them. People tend to hear what they've got to say multiple times, and after a while think, you know what, they're right. But the reality is, a lot of the time, unfortunately, they're not right. And guys, I'm not saying this because I don't like Rishi Sunak. I'm not saying this because I don't like Boris Johnson or Boris Johnson. I'm not saying this because I don't like anyone. It's got nothing to do with who I like and who I dislike. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. I'm saying this because a coach taught me something when I was 19 years old. And what he taught me was, the one thing we learn from history is that we do not learn from history. So what I'm saying this based on is based on history. If you look at history, you will see all of the calamities, all of the drama, all of the stress that's been caused by politicians telling us something, but the actualities and the reality being something different. So again, guys, look, let me tell you something. If anyone in the stream is older than 15 years old and you've seen at least one or two parties being in power, and you've witnessed exactly what I'm saying, just put a Y in the chat, please, so I know I'm not alone. But again, we've seen this again and again and again since the 80s. In my life, I've seen it. I've been able to take conscious thought of it since the 80s. But guys, again, we've seen this again and again and again. People making assertions, people making claims, and the reality is, they're not going to deliver. Okay, in many cases they're not going to deliver. So now, as you can see, we've got this stamp duty threshold being rolled out in terms of a eased way to take it away from us. And guys, you've got to decide what you're going to do. I said off the front of this stamp duty holiday that this is not going to be a discount. What this is going to be is a facade of a discount, which is going to lead a lot of ignorant people into the marketplace. And the funniest thing about all of that is, someone told me just this week about someone they know who was trying to buy a property for a number of years. The price of the property was roughly £200,000. Obviously, this was pre-lockdown, pre-COVID, pre-stamp duty holiday. And what they basically explained is, the person wasn't able to buy the property, had to pull away from the market. Then we had lockdown. Then we had stamp duty holiday announced, and the person went back into the market to try and buy the same house, and they were now told that the house is costing £15,000 more. It's actually £12,000 more than the £200,000, so £212,000. And the person said to me, like, how can that happen? There's a stamp duty holiday. There's no stamp duty. And that's when I broke down to them the concept that I've been sharing with you guys for months on the channel and on the show. And they were like, wow, so that's really what it is. That's why a house that I was looking at, the exact same house for 200,000, is now 212,000. Not because there's been an increase in value, not because the market's gone up, not because the market's become stronger, but because the market is a supply and demand based market. And if you take away the supply, or if you leave the supply as it is, which is what's happened, and you increase the demand, which is what you do when you create incentives, then what happens is more people come to the market expecting to find a deal, and they don't even know if it's a deal because they haven't been in the market before. And those of us who have been in the market for a while, we recognize, hold on a minute, you're paying over the odds. Why are you paying over the odds? Because apparently there's a discount. Wow, do the maths on that. That doesn't make any sense to me, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. All right, so let me jump into the chat. Samuel Cole says why. So he believes that yes, he's seen governments, more than one or two parties in the past, make claims and not deliver on their claims. Guys, I'm sure Samuel's not the only person. So if you have seen more than one political term, from multiple different parties and seen people not deliver, let me get a Y in the chat if you're one of those people. Now, coming back to the question, Samuel asked the question, which tea brand am I drinking, please, in the spirit of giving? In the spirit of giving, what I would love to do is give and share with you a cup of this tea. I've got a cup downstairs, and obviously you've got a lot more of this tea. This is the brand of this tea is Dalgety Teas. Dalgety Teas, okay, Dalgety Teas. And specifically, what I'm drinking today, and I say today specifically because I drink a lot of tea from a lot of different manufacturers, but I do like Dalgety tea quite a lot, just for those of you who don't know. And the tea I'm drinking today is the honey and ginger tea, which is one of the classics I really do like. Honey and ginger tea. So for those of you who don't know what Dalgety tea is, let me hopefully grab a browser and show you exactly what Dalgety tea is. No thanks. This is not sponsored, guys, just so you know. It's not sponsored yet, should I say. But yeah, this is the brand of Dalgety tea. And specifically, the one I'm drinking is, for those who want to know, I assume not everybody wants to know, but for those who want to know, let's get some images so you guys can see this thing the right way. The honey and ginger variant, okay? Some great tea. This is in Tesco, I believe. They sell this in Tesco. Yeah, 20 tea bags in a box. But they sell this in Tesco. And everywhere else, I think it's mainly mainstream. So yeah, Dalgety tea is the tea I'm drinking. All right. If that's helpful for you, let me know in the chat, Samuel, how many stars you give to the answer to that question in the spirit of giving. All right, guys. With that being said, let's jump into the next article I wanted to share with you guys. Again, another powerful article. And in a moment, we will open up the phone lines for you guys to call in. And for us to take any questions you guys have specifically in your property investing challenge. Now, I think we've got dark mode on the browser today, so unfortunately, it's a lot of the content is dark. I do apologize, guys, but yeah, let's jump in. All right, so this news article, again, link is in the description, is covered by estate agents today. So again, this is kind of like a behind the scenes look at how things are done, because it's mainly estate agents who are on this site in terms of sharing the news. This is another article that was produced yesterday. Again, just another one I wanted to just share with you guys so you guys get an insight into the different messaging that is actually coming out to the community. So this says stamp duty deadline. Here's the last date to market a property in time. Okay, so it's the 5th of March, which was yesterday. This was actually released in terms of an article. Today is the 6th of March for those of you who are watching us live. For those of you who are watching on replay, today is whatever day it is when you're watching. And basically, this is what the article say. Agents in England are told that sellers should market their homes by March the 23rd. Okay, I think this is actually ridiculous. Okay, so this is roughly 18 days. Okay, I believe it's 18 days. Yeah, 18 days from when this article came out is what is the recommendation for people to market their house. Now, I want you to see all the variables of this, because what happens is you might go on some people's YouTube channels or some people's platforms who are talking about property, and you might hear them say one particular stance of how things are. But in order to understand how a market works, you have to understand the supply side and the demand side. You have to understand the perception that is out there, which we spoke about on last week's show, episode 46. Those of you who didn't watch that or who haven't seen that, again, I'd encourage you to go on after this video, go and watch episode 46. Yogesh was with us at episode 46. Yogesh, let me know if you got value on last week's show. Let that just throw that in the chat. I got value or whatever, so that people would know how valuable last week's show was. But the reason I bring up last week's show specifically in this regard is because 18 days, okay, I want you to understand, you got one part of the market, the estate agent part, the part that does the selling, saying we're being prepped on how many days you've got to basically market, to bring your property to market. So obviously, if you're an estate agent and you're getting commissions and you want your commissions like any person would want, and someone's bringing their house to potentially sell, you're going to convince them that they need to do it within this 18-day window. Why are you going to do that? Because in your mind, you got 18 days before a buyer, prospective buyer, can no longer tap into the stamp duty holiday. But watch where this article goes, because obviously we started by looking at the This Is Money article, where we had an in-depth look at what mainstream solicitors and conveyancers are saying. They're saying we're overcrowded, we're oversubscribed, we don't have time, so as a result, we're not even taking on new cases. Some of them, not all of them. Obviously, Yogesh showed that there's some that are not, but some of them are saying we're not taking new cases. All right, you can call around a few conveyancers and find out the experience you get, and feel free to feed back to us on the show. Let us know in the chat, in the comments, etc. You know how that works. But here it goes. Agents in England are told that sellers should market their homes by March the 23rd, only 18 days from yesterday. It says now, but obviously the article was written yesterday. If they want to be sure of completing to benefit from the extended stamp duty holiday. Rightmove says that currently, and guys, this statistics from Rightmove is very powerful. I hope you're listening to this. Rightmove says that currently the average time for a seller to find a buyer is 65 days nationally. So based on Rightmove data, they're saying it takes roughly 65 days for someone to see a property on Rightmove and that to end up being, okay, we found a buyer. And it takes a further 126 days to go through the legal process to completion. Okay, then it says based on this, sellers should be looking to come to the market by Tuesday, Tuesday, March 23rd, if they want to make sure their buyers can make use of the tapering end of the stamp duty holiday by the end of September, says the portal. Now, the thing that's interesting is Rightmove are saying it takes 126 days for the legal process. The legal people, you know, or a group of them, a focus group that we just read about from This Is Money, are saying it's taken an extra month longer than usual. They're saying it usually takes 3 months. It's now taking 4 months to complete these processes because they're overworked. Let's keep going. I'm not sure if you guys can see this article. Hopefully you can. Okay, it's in dark mode again. Apologies, guys. I'll keep reading it. And like I said, links are in the description. When you go to those links, it's not in a dark mode. It's just this specific setup switches it out for us, so we can make sure we can read all of the content, no matter what it looks like. Okay, so based on this, sellers should look to come to the market by Tuesday, March the 23rd, if they want to make sure their buyers can make use of the tapering end of the stamp duty holiday by the end of September, says the portal. Wednesday of this week, when the budget was held, was Rightmove's busiest day ever, with visits surpassing 9 million for the first time. So Rightmove has never had a day of traffic on its website like the day Rishi Sunak makes the announcement that he's extending the stamp duty holiday. I hope you understand what that means. This all means exactly what I've been saying for months. This all means that these stamp duty holidays are creating increased demand. And if it creates increased demand, prices will increase. So we're not getting discounts. We're just not paying stamp duty on a higher price. Okay. And I hope everybody understands exactly what's going on. Unless you know how to find great property deals, which is what we teach on our masterclasses, which we'll talk about later. But again, you know, let me keep going anyway. It says Wednesday of this week, when the budget was held, was Rightmove's busiest day ever, with visits surpassing 9 million for the first time. The total was 6% higher than one summer financial statement day on July 8th last year, when Chancellor Rishi Sunak declared the start of the stamp duty holiday. So I hope people are understanding what this is saying. This is saying more people visited Rightmove on March 3rd, I believe it was the 3rd, when Rishi Sunak made the announcement. On March 3rd or 4th, when the announcement was made, when Rishi Sunak says, I'm extending the stamp duty, more people visited Rightmove than when he introduced the stamp duty holiday. Why is that? Well, when he introduced the stamp duty holiday, the only people that were interested in, you know, the financial updates that would come from someone like Rishi Sunak were people like me, people that were more advanced investors. But now, because people have heard through the grapevine about, oh, there's a stamp duty holiday. Oh, in March, they're going to be reviewing it. Oh, you know, it's supposed to end at the end of March. And then in March, Rishi Sunak says, yep, we're going to keep this thing going for a few more months. All the heads turned. all to Rightmove jumped on the website. So I hope you guys are understanding this. This is a supply and demand thing. Rishi Sunak knows what he's trying to do, and obviously it seems to be working, and why wouldn't it? So the total was 6% higher than on summer financial statement day on July 8th last year, when Chancellor Rishi Sunak declared the start of the stamp duty holiday. This week, it was the combination of the stamp duty holiday extension and the introduction of the 95% mortgage scheme, which appears to have propelled new buyers to Rightmove on Wednesday. The number of inquiries the budget triggered on the Rightmove and then on the estate agents was 82% higher than on the same day in 2020. I want you to understand, guys, the same day for day, they're telling you this is clear statistical data that these people are flooding these sites and flooding estate agents because of the announcement. So I hope you're hearing this. Rightmove's data analysts have also found that in 12 areas of the north, at least 99% of properties are up for sale for £250,000 or less, compared to just 5 of properties in London available for 250,000 or less. A record was also hit on Wednesday in Rightmove's commercial section. So someone like Yogesh, who endeavors to jump into commercial to residential, someone like myself who does those kind of deals, will know exactly what this means. This basically means that more demand is also entering into the commercial zone. Let's see why this particular site believes that's the case. It says, with over 145,000 visits from people looking for new commercial space for their business. Rightmove's director of property data, Tim Bannister, says it's clear from our record-breaking traffic numbers that the spring budget has introduced buyers into the market who were not perhaps able to consider moving until now, or who were waiting to hear what was going to happen to stamp duty. The stamp duty holiday extension, coupled with the introduction of 5% deposits, has given many people the certainty they've been looking for to press ahead with their home moving plans. They expect this to help spring market activity and could encourage more sellers to come to market, especially in the areas where property prices are lower. Hope someone's hearing this. So those areas where you think, oh, I can go buy a property for 100,000, I can buy a property for 60,000. What they're saying is, based on their view, their insights, they perceive a lot more people are going to be in those areas buying property. So what does that mean? Even in those regions, supply and demand. Think about it, supply and demand. Let me read this last paragraph and then we'll jump off this and open up the phone lines to hear what you guys have to say, and also to connect with you guys in terms of your challenges and questions. It says, many people who may have been delaying a move for a whole multitude of reasons now have the impetus and encouragement to take their next life step, whether it's getting a foot onto the property ladder as a first-time buyer or trading up for some more space and a bigger garden. Guys, this is the reality. We're living in a market where things are completely different. Okay, things are completely different. People don't understand how powerful this is. Mrs. I Can Win says that the Delgatti tea is a black-owned brand. Yes, that's correct. It's a black-owned brand. Thank you, Mrs. I Can Win, for sharing that. Samuel Cole says, wow. Samuel Cole, what is your wow in aid of? Elaborate for us. Samuel Cole goes on also to say, gems, thank you, most welcome, Samuel. This is what we're here for. And he says 5 stars to the answer with regards to the tea. You are most welcome. All right, guys, this is the reality. All right. Rex Banner says, Mrs. I Can Win, which website are you referring to, please? Rex, Mrs. I Can Win around the black-owned brand was referring to Impact Properties. She was referring specifically to the tea I'm drinking. It's Delgatti tea, which we put on the screen a moment ago, which is a black-owned brand. So hopefully that's helpful. And I told you guys, that is some good tea. All right, good stuff. So with that being said, guys, what are your views? If you're live with us right now, let us know in the chat right here, or wherever we move the chat box to in a moment. Let us know what your views are. I'm also going to do something for you guys because I'm just that nice, and I think it's going to be helpful for you guys. I'm also going to put into the chat, for those of you who haven't hit that like button, hit subscribe and press the bell. I'm also going to put into the chat another link, which I think is going to be extremely helpful for you. This link is an article by the Telegraph. Okay. And again, if you don't have a link to the Telegraph, if you don't have an account with the Telegraph, you could take a 14-day free trial in order to get that. But the Telegraph in the money section had an article that came out yesterday, which I thought was extremely interesting as well. I'll read the headline to you. It says, Bank of England will issue £pounds within 2 years as cash dies. All right. So I want people to be thinking about that. And I'm just throwing that out there, guys. Okay. Bank of England are planning, apparently, to be issuing e-cash. Okay. E-cash, £pounds within 2 years as cash dies. Now, the reason I want you to be mindful of what I'm about to share on that is, or of that article, the reason I'm sharing that article in the description of this video is not because it's going to happen or because I believe it's going to happen. The article is actually, the main person giving a lot of the information in the article is actually the head of, well, one of the directors of the largest cash point firms in the whole of the UK. And he's just basically sharing his views that he strongly believes that we're about to see some changes. We're about to see some changes in cash disappearing from the marketplace. And the Bank of England basically releasing e-cash or e-pounds. All right. Oh, gosh, guys, we're living in an interesting world, guys, and I hope you guys are prepared. That's what I'm going to say. Let me just add this. I saw something on a forum which I thought was quite funny. They said, is it going to be called Bitcoin? Okay, so again, this is the Bank of England or all of these companies' attempts to compete with Bitcoin in their various different ways, shapes and forms, which again, all quite interesting. Yogesh throws out a comment. He says, yes, great value on last show. So again, guys, when this show finishes, if you haven't watched last week's episode 46, go watch last week's episode. Our live show last week was quite insightful. We broke down quite a few things. I brought some interesting stuff to the fore, specifically about Croydon Council, what was happening with Croydon Council. And we had quite an interesting discourse at the end around what the implications are of, the V word and the C word and the P word. Okay, the V word being vax, the C word being CV19, and the P word being the pan for the demic. So guys, hopefully that's all helpful for you. I've been told that saying certain words now reduces the shareability of your YouTube videos. So you know what it is. Maybe I should have just made a banner, so every time I want to say those words, you guys just see the banner. All right, guys. So with all of that being said, it's about that time. Let's open the phone line. Phone line is open. For those of you who want to call in. And the question, as we usually ask, in order to help you guys, is what are the property challenges you are facing? Feel free to write your comments if you're with us live. What are the property challenges you're facing? Ask your questions in the comments. Happy to take those comments side by side with that. If you're someone who's going to call in, feel free to call in. Let's take your call. Numbers on the screen, as well as the access code. Feel free to utilize the number and the access code. The number is 0330-606-0403, and the access code, as mentioned, is on the screen also. That 0330 you know the number. All right, cool. So with all of that being said, what I want to say, guys, I've said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. If you are someone who's interested in supporting our channel, we are in the process of building out a purpose-built content creation studio. This content creation studio allows us to stream more often, to produce more content, to do more videos, to share more insights. I was speaking to one of my contacts today, someone who's partnered with me on one of my property projects, and she said something so powerful to me. She was like, Samuel, you need to do a video breaking down XYZ, a specific concept that I taught her. And she basically said, you just need to do a video on that. People are going to really get value from that. You need to do a video on that. And I said to her, you know what? All of this stuff takes time. All of this stuff takes resources. All of this stuff takes the team. And in order to get this stuff done properly and quickly, we need the content creation studio. So guys, I'm just letting you know, if you are someone who's interested in supporting us to build out the content creation studio, if you're looking for the free way to support, then all you need to do is hit like on this video. All you need to do is write a comment on this video. All you need to do is subscribe to this video, hit share, do something with the video that shows your positive engagement if you're looking for the free way to support. If you're looking for a way that is financially engaging, where you're actually going to have to part with some kind of resource and some kind of cash, or maybe an Amazon voucher, if you've got one of those, you can go to our link, impactproperties.co.uk/studio build. I'll say that again, impactproperties.co.uk/studio build. And one more time for the people all the way in the back, impactproperties.co.uk/studio build. And by going to that link, what you're going to be able to do is see our Amazon wish list. And on our Amazon wish list, you're going to be able to contribute by buying something that will be in the studio. So guys, we are happy to take those contributions from you guys and allow you to contribute to supporting the channel. And last but not least, if you're someone who wants to give some kind of a financial donation, you can go to the same link, impactproperties.co.uk/donation, impactproperties.co.uk/donation. And for those of you in the back, again, that was impactproperties.co.uk/donation. And by going to that link, you'll be able to contribute some kind of monetary gift in order to help us continue to build out our content creation studio, a purpose-built content creation studio. So guys, let me know how you want to make it happen. What are the property challenges you are currently facing? Now, I've got some questions in the chat. I've also got some comments. I've got Kaylin Brohan. I hope I'm saying that properly, or is it Brohan? Kaylin Brohan in the chat, who says, please, Kaylin, let me know what the please is about. What are you asking us to do, please? Or what are you asking us about, please? I'm happy to answer questions, but let me know what the please is about, Kaylin. So hopefully we can help. And let me know if I'm even saying Kaylin right. And Kaylin, side by side with all of that, are you new to the channel? If you're new, feel free to write the letter NEW, the letters NEW, the acronym new or the word new in the chat, so we will know that you are new to the show. All right, so let me jump into the comments, see what you guys are saying. Hopefully help you answer some of these comments and questions. And side by side with that, specifically, if we load up the chat, see what you guys are saying in the chat. So let's go from the top, see if we've got any questions. Guys, thank you for all the engagement in the chat as well. It looks like the chat is very, very healthy today. You guys are all in here. Maybe that is the real electric shock, Yogesh. But yeah, great to see all of these comments, guys. All right, so let me see if I can get through. Glad you're safe. What happened? We answered that question already. I presume you're talking about the budget. Yeah, a little bit, just in regards to the stamp duty more than anything. Hi, good afternoon all. Hey everyone. Hey Susie. I was at the beginning and impressed. Thank you, Yogesh, for that again. Good evening all. I'm just impressed. Your time is precious. G. Thank you, G. Cool news. Samuel wanted us to go to the news first, which we did. Great stuff. Susie 4, thank you again. Appreciate you. All right, which tea brand? We answered that. All right, first question, Yogesh. Always fast to the draw. Yogesh says, so with 95% deposit for first-time buyers, do you see price rises and then correction when stamp duty holiday stops? That's a good question. Ooh. Yogesh, that is a very, very good question. Okay, guys. Hopefully everybody understands what Yogesh has asked, but it's a very good question because Yogesh has done something we call top and tailing. He's given me the top part of the question, but also the other side. And that's what makes this a bit challenging. Yeah, let me use the word challenging. A bit challenging to answer directly. So, but I have to answer directly because that's what I do. So how do we do this? How do we do this? Yogesh, I'm just thinking about how to answer your question in the most direct way, but give you guys all the most value, as I try my best to usually do. All right, let me take the first part, because the first part I feel like for me is kind of easy to answer. And then from there, I'll go into the second part. And again, guys, we've read the disclaimer already. So guys, these are my views. These are my thoughts. And yeah, I feel like in terms of like predictions, I don't want to use that word, but in terms of my theory on a lot of the economics, the microeconomics that we've been seeing in the property market recently, I haven't been too bad in terms of my views and what's actually been happening. So again, this isn't because I'm Mystic Meg. This is not because I'm a fortune teller. This is just because I look at the information, the data. I'm a statistician, by training, by some level of training, and I'm an educator. So as a result, it allows me to, I think, more educatedly educate. For those of you who want to know the the context and the breakdown. All right, so yeah, let's take the top of the question. So with the 95% deposit for first time buyers, do you see prices rising? Yes. Okay, so that's the first thing. I see prices rising, yes, 100%. But I've been saying that for months. Okay, I've been saying, and I think last week I said it again. You know, I've said this so often since last year March when we started the live show. Personally, I feel as though we're gonna see price increases or price stagnation as long as the perception in the country is that things are all right or there's a deal to be had. And I think the second statement, there's a deal to be had, specifically for today's episode 47, is the one we should be focused on, because obviously the budget has just come out, and in that budget Rishi Sunak is making people feel like there's still a deal to be had. You can get, you know, a holiday on your stamp duty. So I think the Rightmove data, and it's good that we went through those news articles because I think they help. I think the Rightmove data shows, like, you can see the people that were being directly quoted from Rightmove's, you know, the Rightmove's, I think it was Rightmove's chief of data, you know, that person was basically sounding excited in the words that were quoted of theirs, saying, look, our record breaking, you know, days, and they are hitting records. They're hitting records. They're having site visits beyond what they've ever had in their career, of having Rightmove up. So I hope this shows people like what this actually means. This means there is a strong demand being caused by Rishi Sunak's statements. Okay, so that's the first thing I'd say. So yes, I do think there's going to be price rises or at least price stagnation, both of which are positive for our economy. Our economy believes, perceptionally, that there's a good market and there's an opportunity to be had. So they will go to the market to try and grab the opportunity. So that's the first thing. The second part of your question, Yogesh, you said, and then correction when stamp duty holiday stops. I don't think it's going to be a correction. Okay. You know what? You've actually said the right word. Okay. Yes. I think there will be a correction. I think correction is the right word. I think in my head, as I read correction, I was thinking a decrease. I was thinking the word decrease or thinking the word drop. I don't think there's going to be a decrease. I don't think there's going to be a drop. I think there is going to be a correction. And I think that's going to come in the form of a drop. It's going to come in the form of something more savage than what we generally call a drop. But definitely. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I think the price reduction that's going to take place after the stamp duty holiday ends, for some people, is going to be tragic. Like I want to use that specific word for you guys to understand how strong I think the drop may be. Now, I've said this on previous weeks, guys. I'm not one of those guys who give percentages. Oh, I think it's going to be a 10% decrease in property prices or 20% decrease. Like, obviously, most of you know my main focus of investment a lot of the time is London. So I can give you some views on London. But generally, guys, we're in the UK. The viewers of this channel invest all over the UK. I invest all over the UK. So I don't want to just focus on London. For those of you who haven't seen our video on are there property deals in London, link in the description. Feel free to go watch that video after this video, and you can get my take on whether there are property deals in London. But yeah, to be honest with you, I think there will be a reduction in price. I think that reduction in price will be stimulated and spiral out from the fact that the stamp duty holiday will end. But it's not going to be the stamp duty holiday ending specifically that's going to cause that decrease in price. It's going to be the lack of, again, it's supply and demand, the increase in supply and the lack of demand, which is going to do that. So Yogesh, let us know in the chat, how many stars you'll give to that answer. I think you actually asked that question before we went into the news article, and obviously the news article gave shed. Is it shed or shod? The news article shared a lot of light. It's definitely shared a lot of light in light of that regardless. So guys, let me know in the chat as well. Is it shed or shod a lot of light? Shone, that's what it is. Shone. The news article shone a lot of light. I hope so. That doesn't sound that right in English. Let me just stick with share. The news article shared a lot of light as it pertains to those things. So yeah, guys, hopefully that's really, really helpful for you. Let's keep going. Let's see what other questions were in the chat. Samuel says, gems, thank you, Samuel, for appreciating the value. We appreciate you. All right, cool. Great question. Come on, right up my street. Love it. So Yogesh asked the question, any tips in encouraging children? Yes. Okay, cool. Any tips in encouraging children aged 9 and 11 to be interested in investing in property in their future? 100% play more games. Okay. 100% play more games. Okay. You see, at the age of 9 and 11, let me think about it. Yeah, you're still there. You're still there. Probably 11 is where they're going to start tearing out of that ideology of games with their parents. But I would say, like, again, if you're a parent and you're watching this, whether live or on the replay, let me know in the comments if you have a child who's above 11 and if they're really into playing games with you as a parent. If you do, you've probably done a great job of parenting, presumptuously. But generally, what I tend to find is when children get to around 11 years old, that's when playing with their parents isn't that cool anymore. And there's a reason why, okay? It's not because, physiologically they're 11 now. No, it's actually because they then go to secondary school. So hopefully someone who's watching this is going to get a light bulb moment. Oh yeah, it's true, isn't it? At 11, they leave primary, finished, their 11 plus or whatever they're doing. If they're not doing 11 plus, they're SATs or whatever it is now, and they go off to secondary school. And when they go off to secondary school, they are the smallest fish in a big pond, being the youngest in, of 5 years or 7 years if it's a sixth form school. And as a result, they look up to other people now instead of just their parents as much. And many people don't understand this, but yeah, this is just psychology. This is what happens to our children when we send them to mainstream schools or when we send them to schools as we know them conventionally. So yeah, so my advice is, if you've got an 11 to 9-year-old, let me add this as well. I know I probably shouldn't be this political on the Impact Properties channel, but I'm gonna be this political because you guys know me. I share with you what tea I drink, thanks to Samuel Cole. So I might as well share with you my true views on parenting or aspects of parenting. And guys, those of you who get value from finding out more about me and what I do, feel free to go over to my family channel. I've got a family YouTube channel. It's called Simply I Can Win. And over on the family YouTube channel, we just finished 14 days on purpose, talking to people about their purpose and the reason you're actually alive, which is the kind of stuff that really fires me up. So KTR was one of the people who joined us on the family channel. KTR, you can let us know in the chat if you got any value from the 14 days on purpose over on my family channel. Now, coming back to the point, what I was going to say is this, just to share with you my views. If you know, okay, and look, this is not a judgment. This is not me saying, oh, you've been a bad parent. I'm leveling with you. I'm trying to be honest and transparent with you. If you know you've done a fairly bad job of parenting, whoever you are watching this, and your child is around 9 to 11 years old and you haven't really spent time with them, you haven't really invested in them because you've been so focused on your work, your job, and money, basically, if we make it simple. Money! If that's what you've been focused on, let's use this because it's pounds. Money! If that's what you've been focused on, it'll be funny if people take snippets of these videos and create memes, isn't it? Anyway, if that's what you've been focused on, all right, and you haven't done a good job of parenting, I'm going to be honest with you, playing games with your children now is kind of like close to your last chance to really try and capture your child's heart in terms of relationship and love. And I'd really encourage you to do that. The reason why is because I worked for a number of years, around roughly or just over 5 years, in education, as an A-level maths teacher and a secondary school maths teacher, working with children from the age of 11 all the way up to the age of 21, maybe even beyond, and also training teachers how to teach. And I'm going to be really transparent with you guys. The amount of 13-year-olds, the amount of 11-year-olds, the amount of 14, 15-year-olds that I met, especially at the younger age of secondary school, they're very vulnerable. And people send them to schools and don't realize how vulnerable their children are because they see their child in a position of strength a lot of the time. But I want to say this because I want you guys to be equipped as parents, if you are a parent, or parents to be, if you're planning to be a parent at any time in your life. If you've done a bad job from the age of 0 to the age of 9, from the age of 0 to the age of 11, start investing now. Drop everything and make that child your priority, please, because in the next 3 years, that child is basically going to have a large part of who they're going to be fully developed. And if it's without you, then it is technically without you. And I don't want that to be the plight of anyone who engages with me, whether it's on the property channel, whether it's on my family channel, or whatever. Okay, so guys, that's just a bit of encouragement. Now going back to Yogesh's question, I think the answer is fairly simple, which is why I answered it so simply. But yeah, play games with them. Play games with them. Go buy Cashflow 101. Go buy Monopoly. Not all the jazz silly monopolies. Not, I don't know what they're called. But don't go buy those monopolies. Buy the original Monopoly game. Another great game is the Game of Life. Hashtag Mrs. I Can Win, who introduced that game to me years ago, probably about 9 years ago now. The Game of Life is a fantastic game. The new one is not as good as the old one. I think the old one is amazing. Excuse me. But again, I'm going to be transparent with you guys. I don't know if you can find the old one. And if you can, it's probably going to be quite expensive. And when I say that, I mean in terms of board games. Well, who am I to say that when I buy Cashflow, and Cashflow is a £70 game? But yeah, just play games with them. Play games with them that are centered and focused around investment. Watch them laugh with you. Watch them cry with you. Watch them be angry with you when you beat them. But equally, watch them be happy when they beat you. But play games with them. Play games with them. A coach said to me once, if you want something done, gamify it. I read in the John Maxwell book years ago very powerfully. His parents used to gamify things to really get them done. And I'd say the same thing, like turn it into a game. Children love games. And games are great ways to show children the importance of investing. So I've given 3 game recommendations. Wow, you guys have got power, lots of powerful value. Thank you, Mrs. I Can Win. I see your comment. You say shed. I appreciate that. So yeah. So guys, play games with your children, and I hope that has shed light on Yogesh's question. Yogesh, let us know in the comments for the second question you've asked, how many stars you would rate that particular question and answer. Yeah, Yogesh says yes, great value last show. Mrs. I Can Win, got that, thanks. Apologies, I was referring to the Bugatti Tea Company. Cool. So that means more buyers. Okay, so here's another question. Yogesh is flooding the stream with questions today. I'm loving it. All right, Kaylin, have we got a comment from Kaylin yet about whether Kaylin is new? And also what Kaylin was saying, please, about Kaylin. We're interested in supporting you. Let us know. Are you new? By writing the word new in the chat. And what was you mentioning, please, about? So we know how we can support you or answer that question. I got a few people jumping in the stream, guys. Great. Those of you who are just jumping in, great to see you on the stream. I got my man Gavin in the chat. I've got also Kimwin in the chat. Guys, thank you for jumping in. Great to have you on the stream. Let's go into the next question. So Yogesh says, so that means more buyers or more seller? Question mark. He's a bit lost about the supply and demand balance after stamp duty extension. All right, cool. That's a great question. So think of it like this, okay? When we have, thank you for the question, Yogesh. Great question. Let's jump into it. Think of it like this. When you have lots of people wanting to buy and a static amount of supply, because there's more buyers than supply available, that is called, we can call it oversubscription. In business, we call it oversubscription. So oversubscription always allows you to increase your price. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So if you have a coaching program and you have 100 people trying to get on 12 places in a coaching program, well, that allows you to say, well, we're going to increase the price, because again, like I always say, it's a market. And if you find that 10 people come and say, look, I'm going to pay the price that was on the tin, but another 10 people come and fit the same criteria and say, well, I'll pay the price on the tin plus 10%, then what happens is the price potentially can increase. Now, there's different ways people increase prices, but generally we're talking about supply and demand as an issue. And the thing is, as the examples I've just given, supply and demand as a criteria creates multiple ways for price increase. One of them might be a chosen price increase, i.e. the seller saying, no, I want more because I've had 15 people come through the door all telling me they're happy to pay the asking price. Okay, so it can be something that is demanded by the seller. It can be something that is preempted by the agent. Now, a lot of what we're seeing in the market currently over the last year, let's call it year, over the last year, roughly call it 9 months. But a lot of the increase in price we've seen over the last 9 months or since the stamp duty holiday was announced has not been created by sellers. Okay, I want people to understand that sellers have not said, I think my house should sell more. Because what you have to understand is the sellers are in the exact same environment that we're in. The sellers are thinking about CV19. The sellers are thinking about pandemic. The sellers are thinking about VCing. Like, the sellers are thinking about all the same things that every other human being is thinking about now, including the people buying. So because of that, they're not going out there saying, look, I want to sell my house and I want 100,000 over the price. No, the sellers are not doing that. The people doing that are the estate agents. Estate agents are noticing, I put this property on the market and 8 people call me on the first day. Hold on a minute, that didn't used to happen. It used to be around 3 or 4. You know what? We're going to hike the price, or we're going to keep the price up, or whatever else. So that's the current situation, okay? And I'm only sharing this. I know Yogesh didn't ask about this explicitly, but I'm sharing this so everybody's clear on the current situation for when I now explain the post stamp duty holiday situation. Now, when the stamp duty holiday ends, there's going to be 2 groups of people. There's going to be one group of people who are going to recognize they overpaid for a property. Okay. Now, that's a small group of people, because most people don't realize they're hoodwinked straight away. Okay. And when the people realize that they overpaid for the property, they're, in some cases, not many, then again, a smaller group of people from that group of people are going to want to sell, just because they're going to want to make sure that they're out of that deal. And the reason why they're going to do that is because they're people who are going to have people like me advise them. I'm not going to be advising people to sell, like, explicitly. I want to say that, because I've just said people like me advising them, but I'm just giving an example. They're going to have people who are maturer in property investment advising them, people who are aware of what happened in 0809. Okay. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because if you're aware of what happened in 0809, the people who ended up in negative equity in 0809 were who? Who ended up in negative equity in 0809? Somebody who's in the stream. I know we got a lot of advanced investors on this stream. Let me know in the chat what type of people ended up in negative equity in 0809. It's only one group of people that generally ended up in negative equity in 0809, and they're the same group of people that end up in negative equity any single time they do what that group of people do. So what's going to basically happen, coming back to the context for people to understand, is when the stamp duty holiday disappears, okay, you're going to have a group of people. I've already said this as well. It's a small group, but I want to be very explicit. I don't want you guys to get my words wrong. I want you to understand exactly what I'm breaking down. A small group of people after the stamp duty holiday are going to realize they overpaid. And when they realize they overpaid, a smaller group within that group are going to say, you know what, I need to get out of this as soon as possible, because if I've overpaid and the price of my house goes down significantly, I will end up in negative equity. So a small group of people who have run to the party to buy are going to realize they made a mistake, and a small group of that small group are going to say, I'm offloading. Okay. Now that's going to be some stock, but that's nowhere going to be near the amount of supply that we currently have. Now, what do I mean? Well, currently people are selling their house just because. All right. There's people who bought a house 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And because of the scenario of what's happening now, they're being told by estate agents, you should sell your house in the next 18 days. This is part of the reason why I brought up that article a moment ago, because I want you guys to see what the estate agent world are saying to each other behind closed doors. They're saying to each other, 18 days, well, from today, 17 days. Well, a business day is basically done today. So I can't imagine any estate agents are open right now at 7:33 in the evening. So let's just say 16 days from now, the 23rd of March is the last day that you can blah, blah, blah. Now, look, the reality is that's not the last day. If you're someone like me, you've got a power team, you've got solicitors that will work, that you will WhatsApp or call at 9 p.m. and they're going to have a whole conversation with you for an hour and then get work cracking in the morning. Guys, let me tell you something. It's not going to take 126 days in order to do a transaction if you're ready, if you've got the money, if you've got the power team. Like, some of you who are on this stream know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? But most people on this stream, most people buying property, most people investing, or especially those people who are starting out, it's probably going to take even longer than 126 days. Why? Let me tell you about the statistics again. When they say these 126 days recommendations and all of these recommendations, they're all averages. Okay, they're averages, and the average isn't compiled by every single person taking 126 days. The average is compiled by taking all the days that everybody takes and dividing that by how many people there are in the market. So, for example, if I buy a house and it takes me 56 days to complete, and Charles buys a house and it takes him 300 days to complete, and you work out the average might be around 200 days. So you will say the average time it takes to complete on a house is 200 days, but Charles took 300 days and I took 56. So I want you guys to understand how this really works, okay? Don't just go by, buzzwords and statistics and averages, when actually you got to go by really experience and understand, have I got a power team in place? Hashtag the reason we created this, the Team 10 resource, which breaks down the 10 key players you need in order to build a successful property power team. Guys, you've just got to think about how to make it make sense, okay? So let's go back to Yogesh's question and continue to elaborate. So there's a small group who are going to offload, okay? And that's not a group that's even going to be big enough to mention statistically, in my opinion. But then outside of that, right now, a whole bunch of sellers are selling, and estate agents are encouraging them that you'll get the highest value. You'll get a lot of money. You'll get money out of this. Do it now. Do it now. The problem with all of that is those estate agents won't have the same buzzwords to be able to use after the stamp duty holiday doesn't exist. So although they will want people to sell houses, they won't be able to have that lingo and that timeline and that deadline that Rishi Sunak's created to continue to convince people. So what will happen? There will be less supply. Okay, so that's the first thing, potentially less supply. Now, if there's less supply, okay, and the demand stays the same, what you see, let's say supply is here, demand is here. Okay, if there's less supply and demand stays the same, what happens? Okay, if there's less supply and demand stays the same, the prices will increase more. But that's not what's going to happen, because it's not just going to be less supply. It's going to be less supply mixed with a radical decrease in demand. Why is there going to be a radical decrease in demand? Look at what we read in the article a moment ago. On Rightmove, they said they're hitting record numbers of visits based on Rishi Sunak's announcement. So think of it like this. If I say, hey guys, here's £10, okay? The first person that jumps on our Amazon wish list and gets us a gift, we're going to give you £10. And you go find a £10 gift and then say, it was me, here's the £10. Listen to this, okay? That's an incentive. Let's say based on me giving that incentive, hey guys, we're going to give £10, a real £10 to the first person who goes on our Amazon wish list and gets us something and contributes something to our studio build. Check this out, okay? We've created an incentive for people to do something. Then if I say, guys, we had a record number of people going to our link, impactproperties.co.uk/studio build, to buy something for our content creation studio. Okay. The incentive is the reason that we've got this record number. So what happens when the incentive is gone? Someone tell me in the chat, what happens when the incentive is gone? So is the inflated demand. And not only is the inflated demand going to disappear, but then the real demand's also going to disappear, because people are going to say, I don't want to buy right now. Why should I buy right now? All of these guys just got a deal. I didn't get a deal, until it starts to come out that they haven't got a deal and they paid over the odds. And because they paid over the odds, like I said, a small iota of that group are going to want to come out of the deal. So hopefully that makes sense, Yogesh, in terms of both sides. Okay, in terms of both sides. Mrs. I Can Win, thank you ever so much. We love you and we love having you on the stream. She shares with us that Kaylin Brohan was spamming our channel. Oh, spamming our channel. I hope they hit dislike. But they were spamming our channel. So guys, don't worry. We can all take their name, go to their channel and spam their videos too. I'm joking, guys. That's called humor. All right, let's keep going. So Yogesh, again, let us know in the chat how much we answered that, how many stars you give to that answer. All right, we got some juicy ones. KTR in the chat. Thank you, KTR, for throwing in a power bomb in the chat. So KTR says PLO, which stands for purchase lease option, for those of you who do not know. KTR, thank you for throwing in your question. She says, if you would have the opportunity to do a purchase lease option on a block of flats for 73% return on investment for the first 6 months and 171% return on investment after for 3 years, So that's 3.5 years so far. 50k up front and £600 monthly fee. What do you do? And what in the case you don't like the location, but it still rents? Second case, you don't like the seller professionally. KTR. I love the way you've always got the jazzy questions. All right. So let's take the top part of the question. Now, one of the things that people don't do, I'm going to do this. This is going to help probably every single person on the stream right now just to become a better investor with this little thing I'm going to do alone. I'm going to share something. So KTR has given us information, but the information is not complete. Okay. What do I mean by the information is not complete? A 73% return on investment. I don't know what that translates to in money. Okay, I hope people understand that. Now, a 73% return on investment is a great return on investment. It's a very good return on investment. But for example, if I put in, and I hope people understand this, because I get a lot of people, especially people that jump on our coaching programs, who when they start with us from a coaching perspective, they might share with me stuff like this. Like, oh, look, someone presented a deal to me. I'm going to get a 73% return on investment year one, and blah, 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 blah. And what they don't realize is just look at the details. Okay, so I'll break it down for you guys to hopefully help you. If, for example, in year one, I'm going to put down 50K. So it says 50K up front. Okay, let's actually do this because I think this will be helpful. Guys, do you want me to do the online calculator or you want me to do the calculator on my screen? I'm happy to do either, as you usually know anyway. But should I do the calculator here with me, or should I do the online calculator? Let me know in the chat what you guys want. As I usually share, I'm flexible and happy to do whatever you guys want in that regard. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think. All right, so cool. So again, I don't think KTR's calculated it from this perspective, but I'm doing this because this is helpful for me. So if I'm paying £50,000 day one, a 73% return on investment means in year one, I'm walking away with £36,500 in profit. Okay, that's what that should mean. Year one, I should be walking away with £36,000. Excuse me, £36,500 in profit. KTR, let me know if that so far is correct. Okay, or are you talking about a return on investment from some other fee other than the 50,000 investment? Okay, so that's the first question I'll ask you. But basically, based on what you've said, depending on what the actual numbers are on the 73% return on investment, I'd be interested. Okay, I want to answer your first question. It's challenging because I've obviously read your second question, and your second question is kind of keeps coming in my head. And your second question is probably going to cause me to give you an answer which is opposite to what I'm saying on your first question. But again, that's the power of asking questions clearly. But yeah, let's do this. So I see KTR is actually throwing up more comments in the chat, so this is helpful. All right, so let me just read everything so I'm on the same page. Okay, that didn't help. Let's get it from here. Okay, cool. Yes, so Ecosmios, great information thus far. Thank you, Ecosmios. We see you in the stream. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Ecosmios is another person who was with us over on my family channel for the 14 days on purpose. So again, Ecosmios, thank you for joining us over here. All right. KTR says online calculator. KTR, you love to give me work. I appreciate it. Okay, Yogish, I see your other question as well. Games like Monopoly, what kind of games? Have I answered your question, Yogish? Have I answered your question? Ooh, Mrs. I Can Win. You gave Kaylin a timeout for 300 seconds. They must have been naughty. All right, so let me know if I've answered that question about what games. All right, I got everything popping off him. So let's get KTR's question answered, because that's where we're at right now, and then we'll go further into it. So PLO, if you'd have the opportunity, okay, you want the online calculator, so let's do that. My only challenge is with the dark mode whether it's going to show properly, but let's see. Okay, let's see, and let's even see if I can turn this off, because that might be helpful as well. Guys, thank you for joining us on the stream. Hope you're getting value from the stream, and we look forward to continue helping you in the stream. I thought I had it. Let's see. All right, so let's jump in. All right, let me bring you guys over. Guys, like we've said already, hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, press the bell notification, be a part of what we're doing, and let's make this happen. All right, so we are in Google. Let's now jump into okay. Let me see if this works. This might help. Okay, cool. Dark mode is off. Whoo, guys, the things we do to get you guys the value. Let's do this. All right, online calculator is on the screen. Hopefully this is going to help us to break down exactly what we're talking about and jump into this. So let's do this. Let me go into this one anyway, the one I usually use for you guys. All right, so whilst this loads up, trying to keep in mind exactly what KTR has said. So it's a £50,000 investment. So I'm going to put in £50,000 on day one, and then I multiply that by my return, which is 0.7. Let me check the number exactly, so we're on the same place. 0.73. Okay, so this gives you the number that I had a moment ago. Apologies if the equals works, of £36,500. So what that means is, if I put in 50,000 in year one, I should receive a return of 36,500 in year one, and that's profit. If that's a return on investment, that has to be profit. That can't be the income, because if it's income, it's not what I walk away with, so therefore it's not return on my investment. Okay, so that's the first thing. All right, and I'm sure KTR, you know, well, yes, I know KTR knows how to calculate ROI, because she's been on our 6-month coaching program. And also, I know she's done a whole bunch of training with other property people. And she did the 21 days of your property investing success with us, where we worked out return on investment a number of times, as well as she did the 5-day property finance bootcamp that we offered as well. So KTR, based on what you're saying, I should be able to generate 36,500 in year one. If I divide that by 12, that should give me an indication of what this is as a monthly revenue for me, as a stream of revenue. So that's roughly £3,041. Let's call it £3,000 a month. So we're talking about a PLO where I'd have the opportunity to get a block of flats with £3,000 coming back to me every single month for the first 6 months. Okay, so first 6 months. So again, KTR, you need to clarify, is this £3,000? And again, I'm only asking because I want it to be very, very clear. Is this £3,000 I get every single month for 6 months? Or is it double this, because you've said it's a 73% return on investment? Okay, so if it's a 73% return on investment, we calculate return on investment over an annual period. So am I getting that over 6 months, i.e. double the £3,000, so £6,000 a month? Or am I getting £3,000 a month for the 6 months? How have you calculated that? That would be helpful to understand. KTR says £700 for the remaining 2.5 years. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's the monthly fee on the end. So you've then gone on to say, and 171% ROI after for 3 years. So 50k up front and £600 monthly fee. What do you do? So the comments are coming in and are being retracted. So I'm not sure if that's KTR who's deleting them. I didn't see all of them, KTR. I just saw your last one because the other two were deleted. So this might be something to just jump on a call with me for. Yeah, guys, those of you who need a call, we do coaching calls, strategy calls. You can go to the link impactproperties.co.uk/booking and book a call. If you book a strategy call, you'll definitely get me on the phone because I deal with all of our strategy calls. If you book a coaching call, you have me or one of the coaches on the team. So again, if you're interested in getting a coaching call or a strategy call, use the link impactproperties.co.uk/booking. If you need the link, just write the word link down below, and all our calls are charged at a rate. But yeah, again, if you want a strategy call, let's do that. All right, let me say this, KTR, just so I give an answer. Based on the numbers you've said, I think these numbers are very good numbers. I'd be more interested in knowing what's my return on investment after I execute the purchase lease option. Reason being is the numbers for the first year or the first 6 months do not look very, very appealing. If you think of a purchase lease option as a rent to rent, up until it's executed, what you can then realize is, hold on a minute, if a purchase lease option is like a rent to rent until I execute it, I should be getting at least a similar return on investment that I'd want with a rent to rent. For me, I would not take on a rent to rent with a 73% return on investment. It's not enough revenue for me in terms of what I'm putting in. So hopefully that answers your question. In order to give you kind of an insight into how I see purchase lease options to start with, and I'm talking about just the start before you go on to execute. But for me, I'd be very, very interested in understanding more about what my return on investment is after I purchase, after I execute, after the property is completely mine, because that's going to be the long term. That's longer than the 2.5, 3.5 years. So hopefully that helps you too. All right, guys, KTR as well, just give us in the chat how many stars you give to that answer. And those of you who are getting value from this content, hit share, press like, press subscribe. You know what to do. Now let's go to KTR's second question, because that was very, very powerful. She says, and what in the case if you don't like the location but it is still renting? Okay, I'm not a location based investor. I'm not I like that location, so I'm going to invest there. But what I am is, and I'm going to say this, I've never said this before to you guys like this, so I'm going to say it so you understand it. I am a power team investor. Okay, so hopefully you understand what that means. What that basically means is any location where I have a power team, which I know can make sure things happen the way I need them to happen, the way they happen in our business, I'll invest there. So again, if this property falls into one of the places, one of the locations in the UK where I have a team, or out of the UK as well, because I do some stuff out of the UK. If this falls into one of those locations where I have a solid team, then I would consider this opportunity with the numbers that you've basically said. But just on the numbers in and of itself, for me personally, I think year one's return needs to be a bit better for me. The 171% ROI from year 2 onwards to year 3, I like that. Because again, that's in keeping with the kind of numbers I'd be looking for at the lowest end on a rent to rent. So again, I think that works. So what do? You analyze the deal. In terms of going back to your first question, apologies, I'm skipping from second question to first question. But in terms of going back to your first question, your question was to me, what do you do? What I would do is I'd analyze the deal properly. I'd subject this to the sourcing blueprint as I subject everything. Those of you who've not heard of the sourcing blueprint, it's a free ebook I created. You can go to sourcingblueprint.com, go get your free ebook. And yeah, I'd subject this to the sourcing blueprint just like I subject anything. Those of you who don't know, we have a 7-module online program where we break all of this stuff down as well. But in the sourcing blueprint, we talk about marketing. Obviously, you've done that part to get the deal coming your way. We talk about managing, obviously, the relationship. So you've done that part to get the deal across your table. Then we talk about measuring. At this stage, I will measure this deal to make sure it makes sense financially for me. If it makes sense financially, I'll put that 50K in and I will take that deal. Or I'd renegotiate the terms going back to the management side to make it make sense. And then I'll mature the deal, which is the 4th M of the sourcing blueprint. So hopefully that helps you, KTR. Now going back to KTR's second question, If you don't like the location, would you still rent? It depends on the kind of investor you are. For me, if I don't have a power team there, the answer is no. If I have a power team there, would I still rent? Of course, the answer is yes. Lastly, second case, you don't like the seller professionally. If I don't like the seller professionally, that wouldn't matter to me because I'm not, well, it's a purchase lease option. So for 3.5 years, you do have some kind of connection and relationship. If I don't like the seller professionally, I would put things into the contract that will make me feel safer in the transaction. If I can't put things into the contract to make me safer for the transaction, I'd walk away. And a great person to help you if you want to structure great contracts is Joe from Navistar Legal. So if you're on LinkedIn, you might want to go and find Joe from Navistar Legal and just tell Joe, Samuel sent me, I'm looking at creating a joint venture contract which works for me and works for the other person, or a purchase lease option contract which works for me and works for the other person. So that's massive value, and I've actually given you guys a link, a power team link. So guys, hope you're getting value on today's stream. All right. Rex says, thank you, Mrs. I Can Win. Yogesh says, thanks for the answer, 5 stars. Mrs. I Can Win gives me my English lesson for today. I'm glad that her and KTR are not laughing at me today as they usually are when I say stuff like numero uno and say that I believe it's French. But again, I love you guys and that's why we do this. So Shed, Yogesh says, games like Monopoly. What kind of games? Yogesh, we answered that question. Hopefully you got your answers and you wrote them down. Game of Life, Cash Flow, Monopoly, etc. The real Monopoly again. I'll say that again. KTR says yes, massive value. Also Kim in the chat says thanks for the encouragement. You're welcome. This is what we do. Thank you for being on the stream. Samuel Cole says I've taken notes of those games. Thank you. Most welcome. This is what we do. All right, I think this is another question from Gavin. Gavin said, would you advise renting to property companies offering up 10% more than the current rent? For 3-year fixed with 1-year break, they manage the tenant, catches that they are local authority tenant. Good question. Another good question. All right. So for me, Gavin, I'd say it's a good question. So basically, this is the challenge with this. You need to find out who they are, i.e. the third party, the company, the company that you're going to be renting to. I'm not anti management companies. I'm not anti rent to rent companies. I'm not anti property companies like this offering slightly more premiums. I would say to you, because from this question, I can see part of your concern. Part of your concern is they're offering 10% more. So how can they pay 10% more? What you need to check is how long have you been renting that property out? Who have you been renting it out to? And is it currently achieving market value? Because, for example, if this property company is going to take that property, turn that property into a multi-let property, and as a result be able to double the income, then them paying 10% more means nothing. That's not a significant amount of money. But to you, if you've been renting it out, for example, for £1,000 for the last 5 years, and they're going to offer you 1,100, it might seem like, hold on a minute, that's a significant increase of 10% because you may not have kept in keeping with the increase in value of that market, of the rental market. I'm not sure. Obviously, I don't know, which is why I'm just throwing that out there for you. But for a 3-year fixed term with 1-year break clause, yes, I would consider that. They manage the tenant. I definitely consider that. Obviously, that makes you 100% hands off if they do what they do properly. Catches that they're local authority tenant. If you've ever had local authority tenants before and you're kind of comfortable with managing local authority tenants yourself, then that again for me wouldn't be an issue. However, if you've only ever had professional tenants, then obviously this is going to flag alarm bells to you. But for me personally, I'd want to know a bit more about the scheme that they're running, or the scheme that they're taking these local authority tenants through. Is it a mentoring scheme? Because there are schemes which are mentoring schemes, or is it something else? And then based on that, I'd make my decision. So for me, it's really about the credibility of the management company. Do I have rapport with them? Do I believe them? Do I trust them? If so, then I'd go for it. Obviously, a 10% markup is a good thing. 3 years, no problem with that, because I don't perceive that rental values are going to increase by 10% over the next 3 years. So taking a 10% increase now and not having any other increases for the next 3 years isn't such a bad thing. So that's my view, Gavin. Let me know what your thoughts are in light of my answer, and how many stars you'd give to that answer. No, Yogesh asked, is it Joe Fontowitz from Navistar based in USA? No, Joe is a lady first and foremost, and Joe is from Navistar Legal. So you want to search for Navistar Legal. She's a solicitor, a very good one at that, might I add. So she's a solicitor. She's been one of my speakers at my networking events and stuff like that. She's awesome. She's awesome, especially when you're setting up JVs. So yeah, that's Joe. All right, so let's go to my man Samuel Cole, who asked a question in the chat. He says, if you had £25,000 to invest in property, what would you do? I would find someone like me, who at times opens opportunities to people like you, and I'd work with them. I'd work with them so I can learn, and at the same time as learn. Okay, look, Samuel, this question depends, okay? It depends on several variables. It depends on where you are at in your journey. If you're an experienced investor, then I could find 5 homes for that 25k, okay? The 5 homes for that 25k roughly will be 5 rent to rents. Each of those rent to rents generating between £900 and £1,000, maybe £1,300 if we can get a really good deal. And that would generate for me an additional £5,000 every single month for at least the next 4 to 5 years. So if you're very advanced, if you know what you're doing in property, and I had 25k, that's what I would do. I'd invest I'd invest 25 grand in portions of 5 grand each in 5 rent to rents, radically increase my cash flow to 5 grand a month. Then when I'm generating 5 grand a month, each year I'm generating 60k. That 60k is a deposit on a property. Next year 60k deposit on a property. Next year 60k deposit on a property. And over a period of 5 years, I would use that rent to rent to create 5 properties I buy. That's what I do. But again, if you're at the beginning of your journey, if you're someone who doesn't know how to do that or how to get that done, then what I would do is I'd take some of that money, I'd go on a training program with someone who I trust, someone who I know can deliver insights and value for me. And then I'll use the remainder, the 20 grand or the 5 grand or whatever, depending on what you pay for training and what kind of training you go on. I'd then use the remainder to do exactly what I've just said, because obviously you've been trained or you've got someone in your corner who can help you with the pitfalls on that journey. Or side by side with that, if I wasn't going to do that, then like I said, where I started, I'd find someone like me who from time to time offers opportunities for people to put their money into transactions. I'll put my money into the transaction with someone like me. I'll then learn on that transaction how to basically move forward in my property business by seeing and asking questions, just like the person I mentioned earlier, who's put their money into one of my deals. And like I was saying earlier, they were saying to me earlier, I need to do a video about a specific thing that I shared with them, just because they get opportunities to learn now because their money's in one of my deals. So that's what I do, Samuel. I do one of those 3 things. If I was very advanced, I'll go and split that 25 into 5 sets of 5 and make each of them generate a minimum of £1,000 a month for me. If I wasn't very advanced, I'd pay for some training and then use the rest of the money to do a similar thing. Or, you know, if I was advanced or not advanced, but I just didn't know a particular strategy, I'd then put that money into an opportunity with someone like me and then get the learning from that to move forward. So hopefully that helps you, Samuel. Samuel, again, like everyone else, let us know in the chat how many stars you give that answer as well. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can email us info@impactproperties.co.uk. I'll say that again, info@impactproperties.co.uk. But guys, I'm sure you all know, links in the description, email in the description, and so forth and so forth. And yeah, or just book a coaching call, £350, get coached, and then know how to use your 25 grand. Book a strategy call, £550. After an hour, you'll definitely know how to use that £25,000. All right. I got Ecosmios in the chat. Thank you, sister. Appreciate you. She says, great information thus far. Appreciate that massively. Yogesh likes to play these games. Yogesh, well done. I think that's absolutely awesome. Yes, we are talking about Joe Rogers. Yogesh says, I found the original Game of Life for £45. Is Payday a good game any others. All right, so I've heard of Payday, but I've never played Payday. Okay, and I've heard Payday is a good game, but you guys know me. I only ever respond. Yes, it is Joe Rogers, Yogesh. I only ever recommend stuff I've done before or stuff I've been involved in doing. I don't want to recommend stuff I haven't actually done. But yeah, Game of Life, the original. If you can, Yogesh, take a picture, email it to us, or send it to me on Facebook. We're connected on Facebook. Send it to me on Facebook Messenger, just so I can guarantee and say to you, yeah, that's the one. But Game of Life, if you got the original game and it's in good working order, good game to play. It's similar to Cashflow. Cashflow is like the reinvented version of Game of Life, but it's slightly different, and it's worth playing those kind of games. Cool. So Yogesh says, yes, it's a bit clearer now. Thank you. Yogesh says 5 stars for the answer to the question. KTR says, use the online calculator, which we did. Thank you, KTR, for making work as always. I appreciate you, and I know you know that. Yogesh, you said Monopoly and Cashflow. Any other games? Yes, Game of Life was the other one. Besides that, those 3 are enough if you start working with them. Okay, if you don't play the games, then it don't matter how many games I mentioned, but those 3 are enough. Mrs. I Can Win has played Payday. She says Payday is okay. Mrs. I Can Win, have I played Payday? Did we play that before together? I feel like we've actually played it before. But I don't remember it, so I don't remember playing it. Apologies, let me say that. So that's why, again, I wouldn't want to recommend it. All right, KTR says monthly net profit £301. KTR, is that okay? Okay, she's broken it all down. Awesome. So she said, were these the messages that were deleted? Okay, I think all the messages that were deleted I actually have here. So let me have a quick look, because I assume she deleted them for a reason, guys. Okay, so the comment that you've left there is, you're bad, 6.5. You're not bad. You're not bad. You're good. You know what that means. Private joke. Those of you who were on the 14 days on purpose, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. KTR says 6.58% return on investment the first 3 months and 121% the remaining 2.5 years. Okay, this is not the best way to work out ROI. The best way to work out ROI is just over the year. So over your first year, what's your return on investment? That's what you should be asking yourself. Over the second year, and obviously subsequently the third year, what's your return on investment? So I'd advise you to work out the ROI for each year, because you want to know over a year, what's my return, not just over the 3 months. Now, I get why you've done it like that, because what you're saying to me without saying it to me is, Samuel, the first 3 months I get a certain amount, and then after that I get a different amount. I get that. I totally understand that. But still calculate the return on investment for year 1 as a ROI for year 1. Calculate ROI for year 2 as ROI for year 2, and so on and so on each year independently. And then if the amounts differ, share the amounts with me. But like I said, look, guys, if you have complex questions like KTR's put on the screen, call in. Okay, either call in, because I would be happy. Mrs. I Can Win, trying to make the viewers catch some jokes. Yeah, call in. This is the reason why we have the phone in service. Like, property is a people business, and it's about numbers, and this is why we create the scenario, the situation for you guys to phone in, because we don't want to give you, I don't want to say I would do this when I really wouldn't if I knew more information, which you actually know, which if you call in, I can ask you certain questions and we can get that coming out. And people like Yogesh, who've called in before, KTR, you've called in before, I know, but when people call in, they know that, okay, I've got to the bottom of what I'm looking at. So again, guys, that's the reason we have the call-in service, because we want to be able to answer your questions clearly and effectively. And that's the reason why we allow people to pay for coaching calls on the one-off or strategy calls on the one-off, because they get solutions in short periods of time. So again, hopefully that's helpful. So yes, all right, Susie4, lady of the house, says thanks for all the valuable information. Susie4, you are most welcome as usual. You know, this is what we do, and we're always happy to help you and everyone else on the stream. Hit that like button, share that video, let other people know what's happening over here. Yogesh asked, is it Joe, someone from Navistar based in the USA? Samuel says no. Joe Rogers, question mark. Yeah, that's it. Joe Rogers over on LinkedIn, Navistar Legal. She also interviewed me on her podcast about property and about just thinking deeper than property. Guys, go connect with Joe Rogers. Just send her a message in LinkedIn Messenger and just say, hi, Joe. This is whoever you are. I was just with Samuel on his live show and he mentioned you and I thought I'd get in touch. I'm trying to set up a JV, or I'm trying to set up a purchase lease option, blah, 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 blah. All right, good stuff. Now, Gavin in the chat says 5 stars. Samuel Cole says perfect answer, 5 stars. And wrapping up the comments, I think Mrs. I Can Win says payday is okay. And I'm not going to put the other comment up because I didn't ever want her to be single. I wanted her to be married from day one to me. All right. So as you can see, I get very excited when I talk about my wife and also when I talk to my wife. So for that reason, we're going to jump back into the stream. Guys, I hope you have got value upon value upon value upon value. I know we've had a very in-depth stream with multiple questions throughout this stream. We have gone for over 2 hours again because you guys want the value. So therefore you guys are asking the questions. Guys, let me tell you something. If you want to take things further, and further and further on your property journey, why don't you go and get this resource right here, the 7 best books for your property investing success, where in this resource, I break down for you the 7 books you should be reading if you're serious about having property investing success. Now, look, I'm going to say this to you. So many people don't go out of their way to equip themselves to succeed. There are things you can do to succeed. So for example, I mentioned a moment ago, if you've got complex questions, book a coaching call. Yes, it's £350, but that could be £350 that saves you losing £35,000. And that's just the way things work. Or if you need strategy, you've got some resources like Samuel Cole and you want to really put those resources to work, book a 60-minute strategy call. It costs £550. You might say, oh, that's £550. Okay, but let me tell you something. That £550 is nothing compared to the £5,000 you might save from one little strategy you're taught to employ rather than going and trying to work out what to do with your funds in the ether of the world. Guys, this is the reason why we do what we do, because we've helped multiple people, thousands of people. I'll say that word again. Thousands of people on their property journey, and we're going to continue to help people on their property journey. To all of you guys who are in the stream, who've ever had a coaching call with me, who've ever even jumped on the phone with me, even for my 15-minute free calls that I've done for some people in the past. Usually those calls go to our admin team, but again, at times I tell people to book. I tell the team, book it into my diary. If you've ever had a coaching call with me, or if you've ever had a 15-minute consultation call with me, let me know in the chat if you got value from that call by just writing the word value. I'd love to see the word value from anyone who's ever had any call with me and got value. Now, whilst I'm talking about this specific resource is basically going to be a mini 7 strategy sessions. Okay. And this is the reason why I recommend these resources. So you can go and read these books, or if they're audio books, go get the audio version. If they're ebooks, go get the e-version, grab your iPad, read them on your iPad, just so you can be in a place and a space where you can actually understand, you know what, I'm getting value. Actually, I'm reading this book. It's talking about how I can automate my business. Yeah. I thought I was an Uber investor because I had 15 properties, but now I've read this book Samuel mentioned. I'm now landlording on autopilot. Hashtag little clue there. So guys, I want you to understand that all of the resources we put together, all of the programs, all of the training, all of the value that we give you guys is not because we think it's a good idea. It's because we know what works to help people move further, faster in their property investing journey. I see Yogesh's comment value. It was a couple of years ago, Yogesh, I think, when we had our last coaching call, and I think we owe you a coaching call. I know we owe you a coaching call from one of our live shows. So I will definitely make sure that happens. And I apologize that that's taken so long. Yeah, but anyone else in the chat who's got value from one of the calls with me, over the period of time. But again, let's make that happen, guys. Let's make it happen so we can help you guys move further, faster in your property investing journey. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. So let's do that together as a team. Yogesh says, yes, you do. Let me put that on the screen to make myself feel bad. Thank you, Yogesh. I appreciate you. So guys, yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's push forward. Let's go further, faster, because that's what this is about, guys. This is about you transitioning. And let me tell you something, guys. Can I tell you a secret? Let me know if I can tell you a secret. If I can tell you a secret, can someone put the letter S? I need about 5 S's in the chat. If I get 5 S's in the chat, I'll tell you a secret before I tune out on tonight's stream. Okay, if you want the secret, put the letter S in the chat so I can tell you a secret. And this is a secret most people are not going to tell you. This is a secret most people are never going to say to you. Oh my gosh, I got Remy in the chat. It's been a while and I was thinking about you the other day. Remy says on the stream, evening all, lots of value. Great to have you on the stream, Remy. Great to see you after all this time. And it's funny, I was mentioning the other day a few of the people when Yogesh mentioned earlier on in the show about being on our first ever couple of shows last year in March, and the fact that we're nearly at a whole year of shows every single week since last year March. Again, you came to mind because I was thinking Remy was also one of the people that was one of our first callers. So let's get it going. I got Remy in the chat who gives us S. I've got Mrs. I Can Win in the chat who gives us an S. I need 3 more S's, guys, if you want to know the secret. If you want to know the secret, let me get 3 more S's from the community and I will share with you guys one last secret before I shift off. And I know why Remy puts S in the chat, because Remy knows she's listened to my audio program 101 Property Sourcing Secrets, and in that audio program where I share over 100 sourcing secrets, Remy has used that to get value and get deals. I got Yogesh who puts an S in the chat. I'm loving this, guys. I need 2 more S's. KTR was really quick to the chase. I see 4 S's in the chat. Can I get another S? Can I get another S? Going once, going twice. Also, Kinwin puts the S in the chat. You guys must want the secret. So here's the secret, okay? Here's the secret. Most people are not going to tell you this, so I'm going to tell you this because I love you, all right? Right now is the best time for you to make sure you have the right people in place, the right team in place, the right coach in place, the right insights and information in place. I hope you're listening to this secret because some people won't tell you this, okay? But I want to tell you this. Right now, based on all of the things that are taking place, is the best time for you to put all of the pieces of your puzzle, your property arsenal together in order for you to succeed. Okay. Now I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. And the reason I'm echoing this again and again is for one reason, because in 3 years from now, in 2 years from now, and for some people, maybe even in 18 months from now, they're going to look back and say that point was the best time for me to get the pieces together, the team together, okay, for me to successfully move forward on my property journey. Okay, now it doesn't matter what you've got already. Doesn't matter if you've got 3 properties. Doesn't matter if you've got no properties. Doesn't matter if you've got 10 properties. I'm telling you this secret because no one else is going to tell you that. Right now is the best time to get the things in place for you to win on your property journey. Okay. Now, the funniest thing is some of you who are listening to this, because I know you guys are a very intelligent audience, are going to take me at my word and you're going to go and get things sorted right now. You're going to put people in place. You're going to get the advice. You're going to get the coaching call. You're the strategy call. You're going to get whatever you need in order to be ready to go. Some of you are going to say, this is Samuel being antics, just doing his antics. Okay, that's fine. In 24 months, we'll know the difference, okay? In 24 months, we'll be able to recognize the people who did that and the people who didn't. Why? Because of all of the things I shared with you guys today's stream on the news articles, okay? Shared with you guys today. Apparently, the UK are shifting towards an electronic currency. If that news article, which is in the description, for those of you who didn't hear about that, if that news article is true, okay, and that happens, how prepared are you as a property investor? That's a great question to ask yourself. Second, okay, if it's true that when the stamp duty holiday ends, there will be a price decline, How are you preparing yourself for that activity in the marketplace? And last but not least, if right now estate agents are hurrying people to the market for 18 days, let's say we called it 16, for the next 16 days to sell their property, but solicitors are saying we are not even having capacity, what does that mean for you again as a property investor? Someone who, if you've got all the things in place, your whole power team, your whole team 10 in place, you can complete on deals faster than other people. What does that mean for you? Does that mean there is a slight opportunity in the marketplace whilst other people are having stress? I want you to think about that. That's your secret for today. So guys, I see Susie4 always also put an S in the chat. Let me show you guys my S's. Thank you guys for giving me the S. I appreciate you guys because you want to know the secret. And as we usually do, we deliver. All right. Now, hopefully you guys appreciate that secret. Let me know if you appreciate that secret. Let me see the word appreciate in the chat. If you appreciate the secret, let me see the word appreciate in the chat. I appreciate you guys. And it's because I appreciate you guys that I go out of my way every single Monday to make sure that you guys can get connected on this masterclass. So we have our next masterclass on Monday. That's being run on the 8th of March at 8 p.m. And in that masterclass, we're going to be talking about how you, yes, you can take advantage in this current, not the next, but this current climate and win. And that's the exact reason why I just shared with you that secret, because for some of you, you need to take advantage in this current climate, but you do not know how. So if you're brand new to this channel, if you're someone who hasn't been on one of our Monday masterclasses, I want to encourage you to jump on that masterclass on Monday. If you're someone who's been on our masterclasses before, but it's been a bit of a while, jump on the masterclass on Monday. Go through that content. Ask yourself, are you doing all of the things I start to break down, the 3 secrets in order to take you further, faster in your property investing journey? And I want you to utilize the resources shared throughout that whole masterclass in order to make sure that you win in your property investing journey, because after all, that's what this is all about. This is not about having fun. This is about having fun after the work is done. So without any further ado, it's Samuel I Can Win. It's been great streaming with you guys today on episode 47. Woo! Episode 47. Guys, I just want to say a great big thank you, because we wouldn't have got here without you. Let me even say this. I got quite a lot of women in the stream, so I'm going to say this. Women, do you want a little gift? Because you know it's International Women's Day coming up. Let me say that again. Women, do you want a little gift? Because it's International Women's Day coming up. And obviously the men, you get the gift as well. But if you're interested in the gift, let me see the ladies give me a G in the chat. If I get a few G's in the chat, let me see if I get some G's. Let me see if I get some G's. If I get some G's in the chat, I can see Charmonet. I hope it's Charmonet 5, who gives an S for the secret. Charmonet 5 also gave me appreciate. Thank you for appreciating it. Charmonet 5, let me know. Are you new to the channel? If you are, write the word new in the chat. Let me welcome you as someone who's new. So I got a G from Charmonet. I've got appreciate from Mrs. I Can Win. I got appreciate from Remy. I got an appreciate from KTR. The ladies are the ones who appreciate. I don't know why the ladies appreciate. I thought everybody was appreciative, but it's all good. It's the world we live in. Let's see. I got a G from Charmonet 5. I got a G from Remy. I got a G from Susie4. I've got a new from Charmonet 5. Charmonet 5, welcome to the stream. It's episode 47. We got a bunch of episodes from 1 to 47 on the channel. This is the place where you get creative property investing on demand. Feel free to go and watch some of our other videos, and feel free to register for this masterclass on Monday so you can get value. I need one more G. I'm going to ask for one more G. If I get one more G, I'm going to give you guys a gift right now to get you guys ready to move forward. In the next week, we are going to be celebrating International Women's Day. And let me tell you something, I've got an international woman in my house, so I know what it takes to basically be able to support an international woman. And I think it's a powerful thing to be able to have powerful women who play a major part in the property industry and as well as other things. Oh my gosh, I got a G from Yogesh and a G from KTR. So let me share with you the gift I have for you guys. On next week's show, we're going to have a guest. We're going to have the one and only Dana Byfield. If you have not heard of Dana, if you've not connected with Dana, you need to go and find out who Dana is. Dana is a coach for the coaches. She's the person who is going to give you what you need in order for you to understand how to utilize what you're doing. And in this case, it's going to be property to move further, faster in your journey. And next week, Dana is our special guest, as we want to celebrate all you women on International Women's Week. So guys, if you want to stream and if you want to join our stream next week, I would encourage you to be on time. We're going to tune in 6 p.m. We're going to have myself and Dana breaking down the real realities of being an entrepreneur, specifically in the property space. And we are going to help you move further, faster in your property investing journey. Now, if that's a good gift, let me know in the chat. I'm Samuel I Can Win. It's been great spending time with you guys. And as I usually say, happy investing.